Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Mitchell. I'm the Medical Director for the Department of Mental Health for Inpatient Clinical Standards, and I'm here to talk about informed consent. Informed consent processes are almost always in writing and documented. There is frequently a requirement or part of the process that involves the patient signing off on it, and I will get into why that's so. And it's almost always directly related to a risk-benefit analysis that's implied in what the consent process is about. So the higher the risk engaged in something you want to get a consent about, the more likely you are to use a formal informed consent process. And I want to pause and highlight that I use the word process very specifically. Informed consent is not a signature on a page. That may be the legal measure of informed consent being obtained, but it is actually an ongoing process of engagement by a caregiver and the patient or the one having care provided to them. So informed consent as a written process involves a number of different components. Let's emphasize the most important. It has to be voluntary. It is crucially important for a provider to ensure it's voluntary by dispelling any consequences to a choice that he or she may disagree with, and to be very careful that coercion is not included as part of that. In a psychiatric population that's an inpatient, you want to make sure that people are free of any coercive effects such as, well, if I don't do this because the doctor wants me to, he's going to keep me locked up longer. That would be an example if those two issues are connected that could be viewed as coercive. And it's based on three other clinical assessment prongs. Does the individual being provided care have decision-making capacity? It requires the MD or provider to provide education, and it requires the individual getting services to comprehend that information. Decision-making capacity means a number of different things. One, does the patient understand the information you're giving to them? Two, can they manipulate the information, understand the pros and cons, the good, the bad, the risks, the benefits of the treatment proposed, and most importantly, of not getting the treatment proposed? Can they process that information? And can they then give you back a reasonable approximation of what you're proposing? So one concept in informed consent is, what does that all mean? They've given informed consent. Part of understanding a person's ability to understand information you're giving to them and their decision-making capacity is the understanding. It's called simply capacity. They get it. They understand it. Clinicians assess capacity to provide informed consent